Hello, everybody. It's Psychic Medium Kelly Miller here again, and I am here to do the live audience reading, the live Facebook or not Facebook, but YouTube video here. So I'm sorry, I just got done talking to a marketing person, and so I've got all these ideas popping up in my head. So this one is, like I said, pretty easy flowing, pretty easy going. So if you have questions, this is your opportunity to ask me any questions that you wish. I will not be doing personal readings. So things like, how's my dad doing in heaven? I'd love to answer that, but this isn't the format to be able to do that. So on your sidebar, you will see that there's kind of a chat bar there. So go ahead and ask me any questions that you want. I know a lot of people simply like to join just to join on, just to hear me talk about different subjects, and because they always seem to learn something new. So let me know if you guys can hear me. I'm going to make sure that my chat stuff is on. La, 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 la. So let me know if you guys can hear me okay. La, la. And I don't need that. And I don't need that. So, and if you guys can hear me okay, let me know. I don't know if I'm having some pickles with this or not, because usually by now I see things. So if anybody can hear me okay. Okay, if you guys can hear me, again, put it in that chat bar, because I want to make sure that we're having communication. I see that I have 72 participants, which is awesome. But I want to make sure that you guys can hear me okay. And I think I might be doing something wrong. So let me see. Like I said, type something in that chat bar if you can. Let me see. I'm having to go to a different format. There, now I can see. I had to go to a different format for some odd, weird ass reason, which is all good. So what we're going to do is maximize that. Okay, awesome. So let's go ahead and start asking some questions. Go ahead, guys. I have to kind of do this a different format, chat bar wise, but who cares? Doesn't matter. It still freaking works. So you have me for an hour, for almost an hour. So go ahead and start asking. Okay, so when one passes, holy crap. Wait, hang on. Message retracted. Okay. I had an aspect of me go with Archangel Michael to learn from the archangels about being psychic. What was that about? Some people are more open or able to communicate with angels. Other people better to communicate with spirit guides. It really is resonant on what works for you. So if somebody likes to be able to communicate with angels versus spirit guides, there's nothing wrong with that. And if you resonate more with angels versus spirit guides, great. So everybody's going to resonate with whatever they think or they choose. So whatever works for you is going to be awesome. Most than likely, you're probably learning some lessons or figuring out your own intuitive gifts or abilities. And if that's the case, and a lot of times you're going to have some angels or spirit guides to help you uncover those gifts, I'm going to tell you, it's a lot easier than you think. All right. So keep things simple. Everybody would like to think that my job is this uber complicated thing that I have to do. It's not. It feels like I'm using my imagination every single day. That's what it feels like. So the biggest thing I can tell you is start figuring out what feels right to you and what your imagination is kind of telling you. 9 times out of 10, that's going to be your own intuition. So, okay. When one passes and gets stuck in the gray world, why doesn't spirit help them? Oftentimes when one's sick and on the verge of transitioning, they mention a loved one being there to get them. The gray world, for me, I think what you're referring to is more like ghosts or things like that. That it's rare. Most of the time, 99% of the time when we die, we're going to cross over and go over to heaven. We have loved ones, especially if we're in fear of death or we're a little leery. We're going to have our loved ones come show up and be like, hey, all you got to do is take your last breath, relax, calm down, easy to transition. So many times our loved ones are going to come to help us transition from this world to that. So I think maybe you're referring to ghosts. I'm not too sure, but ghosts, a lot of times, A, don't know that they're dead, and B, they're just assholes. And a lot of times they're in fear of judgment. So they don't know that they're dead, and they don't know what their problem is. So you can pray for them. That will help to aid certain angels to come by called carrion angels. Those angels are really gritty, and they honestly remind me of like the Dementors off of Harry Potter. So that's where we get the Grim Reapers from. So those are actually carrion angels. What they do is they come down in the spirit world into the ghost world, grab spirits that haven't crossed over to help them transition across over. So, but praying for like a ghost absolutely helps, and it will help tremendously to get them to cross over. So hopefully I answered that question. How can I learn to differentiate between dreams and premonitions? Premonitions are more like real life stuff, and that's where deja vu comes from. The other kind is more like really weird and random, like your teeth are falling out and snakes are chasing in the butt naked, right? Those are the ones you have to look up. Personally, I like Dream Moods, MOODS, dreammoods.com, because that has an excellent app for that. And I use mine all the time. And you want to look it up because it's a direct link to your reality. So like teeth dreams, for instance, are always about anxiety, that you're worried or anxious about something that is out of your control that you need to usually let go of. So always look at your dream meanings up, because 9 times out of 10, they do mean something. Unless they're a premonitional dream, then that's where deja vu comes from. So, these are all coming at me fast. So is it true in babies past, they are not babies in heaven, but older? Yes, that is true. So you have to remember, usually on average, their age over there is about 30 years old. So that's how they're going to present themselves to you. However, as a medium, I have to be able to give you validation and evidence who I'm speaking to. So if you had a child who died at 1 week old, I'm going to say you lost a child at 1 week, even though it may have been 8 years. I'm not going to acknowledge an 8-year-old. I'm going to acknowledge the child. So that way I can validate who I'm talking to make me a better evidential medium. But they do continue to learn and grow on the other side, just much like we do and anybody else. So that's usually why they kind of come in that way. How do you know when you're in stages of awakening? I can't see people, but I can feel their presence, especially lately. Absolutely, yes. Even if you question if you're in a spiritual awakening, I'm going to tell you that you are, because only enlightened people or people going through an awakening would even question that. Unenlightened people give no shits. Like they're not going to sit there and take the time to figure out what a spiritual awakening is. They don't care. They think it's bullshit that's over their head. Unless you actually go through it, that's when you're actually going to start investigating it, usually at a stage 2. There are 5 stages to a spiritual awakening. Stage 2 is when your ears are ringing, your head's itchy, certain foods don't sit good, dreaming all crazy, negative people pissing you off, and a weird urge to clean or purge out your house. And then you really look at your life and reevaluate every cotton pick and detail of your life. So that's a lot of times where that all comes from, is at that stage 2. Stage 3 is when we start to rock the boat. That's when we're like, all right, that's it, done. So that's usually when that happens. Okay. Horrible migraines lately. Yes, let me address this, guys. Okay, because right now what's happening, I'm actually going to do a YouTube video on this tomorrow. What's happening is that this weekend we had a major shift. We had a new moon and we had a partial solar eclipse. So that opens us up for this 2-week magical time of this manifestation, or like go time, basically put. So it ends in 2 weeks when we have another solar eclipse that's going to end this magical period. So between last, I believe, Saturday into 2 weeks from that Saturday when the full moon hits, I'm telling you, it's magical. However, you're going to have body aches. You're going to have headaches. You're not going to sleep worth the shit. You're going to dream absolutely crazy, and you're really going to want to feel isolated. So I'm going to tell you, it's normal. All right. The thing that's going to help you out the most, get your butt outside. I'm fully aware we're in Nebraska. It's cold. I get that. But even 5 minutes walking around outside in the grass is going to help to ground you down, get your focus back, get your shit back in order, okay? If you can't do that, that's fine. Go downstairs in your basement, stand in Superman pose, and imagine roots coming out of your feet. That's going to help to ground you down as well. And black rocks, black or red rocks, definitely the way to go. So there's different things that you can do to help with that. But the biggest thing is everybody's third eye chakra and crown chakra is getting boom, blown open. And if you're not used to that, you're going to have headaches, body aches, migraines, just icky feeling, short tempered, just feeling icky. Okay. So I'm going to tell you, it's normal at this point. It's going to end in 2 weeks. In the meantime, what I'm going to tell you is be damn clear what it is that you want. You are planting seeds right now into what you can manifest a few months down the road. And this manifestation can happen super fast. So know what the hell it is that you want. Your spirit guide's job is to guide you to get you what you want. Your job at this point is to figure out what the hell it is that you want. All right? It's pretty simple. Don't get it all complicated. Okay, Spirit's guide job is to guide you to get you what you want. They can't guide you if you don't know what it is that you want. Angel's job is to protect you in this process. Okay, so biggest thing, definitely get your goals down, get them down, and get them down now. So, and if you don't know what they are, get your butt alone, away from just some distractions, away from electronics, and think about it. Really think about what do you want in your life that's going to make you happy. Do not focus in on what you don't want. Focus in on what you do want. Focus in on the solution. If you guys follow me on Facebook, you're going to hear those daily readings. I'm like, guys, know what it is that you want. Figure it out. Now's the time to launch. Okay? If you've been wanting to start a business, if you've been wanting to take that next step, if you want to get out of that shitty relationship, now's the time. Now's the time. It is go time on all areas. So really, really just pay attention to what you're focusing in on. Remember, you're planting seeds or you're planting weed seeds, A or B. It's going to be fruitful or you're going to have a bunch of weeds. But that is all dependent on you and your free will. All right. So hopefully this helps. All right. How can I get more in touch with my spirit guides? You guys are going to get sick of me saying this. Meditate, 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 meditate. So I'm going to tell you, meditation is great baseline foundation for Psychic Abilities 101. All right. So I want you meditating 10 minutes a day. Do not expect to sit there and think of nothing. It's bullshit. It's not going to happen. Let's be real. Okay. Your job is to sit there with a little bit of coffee, watch some birds outside, sit in your car for 10 minutes. Just sit and chill. You can't do 10 minutes because you got kids. We're going to do 5. So 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. That counts. All right. So I want you to learn how to meditate to control your brain. I'm going to tell you here, nothing magical is going to happen when you meditate. I want you to lower that expectation. That's ultimately our goal. That's an excellent goal, but that's not what happens when you start. Okay. Your job is to sit there, chill, and just do nothing. That's your job. All right. What's going to happen is that's going to put you in a place of allowance for your spirit guides to go, oh, she's not thinking of anything while taking a shower. Let's give her some ideas. So that's when you're going to get some freaking awesome shit. That's when you're taking a shower, folding the laundry, going to the bathroom. That's when you're going to get the ideas, all right? So pay attention to the silent parts, especially the random ideas that pop into your head. It ain't random. So pay attention to your imagination. If it gets you excited, gives you the willies a little bit, go for it. Do it. Do it. That's your intuition telling you, oh my gosh, this feels so good. I got to do it. Don't forget, verbally say out loud what you're remembering because it's streamlining in from your subconscious. We want to get it out in the conscious, right? So in order to get it from subconscious, right side of the brain, to conscious, left side of the brain, you got to say it out loud or write that shit down. I don't write stuff down. I just say it out loud. So, because I'm not waking up at 3 a.m. getting some great ideas and not writing stuff down. I'm just going to say it out loud. I'll remember it. So, makes sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Are dream visitations the beginning of an awakening? Very well could be. It very well could be. I'll tell you, in order for somebody to go through an awakening, honestly, you got to get kicked in the teeth pretty damn hard with life. So death of a loved one, getting a divorce, something shocking happened to you. Could be the opposite. Could be that you fell in love with somebody. So there's a lot of different ways people can go through an awakening. Sometimes it's spontaneous too. Maybe had a healing modality such as Reiki. So there's different ways we could begin to go through an awakening. 9 times out of 10, we have to have some sort of a catalyst for this to begin. So, but a lot of times that catalyst is going to hit. So, and when it does, that's when you start researching stuff like awakening stuff and talking to weird people like me. So, can our spirit guide be somebody famous? Yeah, it very well could. Absolutely, very well could. So I don't want you to, just if it resonates with you, then that's your truth. Don't let anybody tell you to talk you out of your truth. It's bullshit. So I started feeling something after overcoming a psychic attack, like I feel the vibration of things around me. So here's the deal. Let's differentiate. Is it a psychic attack? Is it somebody negative? Is it somebody sending you those vibes? Is it the negative bitch at the grocery store? Where is it coming from? Because if you're enlightened and you're intuitive and you stay in that light, you stay in that high vibration, then you can get attacked all you want. It ain't going to hit you. But if you focus in on that negative, you focus in on the attack, you focus in on the curse, well, then you're going to get more negative coming out of it. So I will tell you, if that's the case and you're still having trouble with it, make sure that you're bubbling yourself up, especially in public. And what I mean bubbling up is that you say something like, God, angels, please surround me with the white light of the Holy Spirit. That's it. Then you imagine yourself in a big white bubble. That's going to help tremendously to be able to buffer out that energy. And then also, not a bad idea to maybe go to a Reiki master or healing touch therapist to be able to help you balance and realign. Okay. So I'm going to tell you that I probably about 4 times a year, 3 to 4 times a year, I go myself personally to get some energy work done. All right. So I can't fix myself all the time. Sometimes we need help. There's nothing wrong with that. So I get checked or tweaked about 3 to 4 times a year. I'm good to go. So don't feel like just because you're enlightened and you got this stuff underneath your belt, don't be afraid to ask for help. There's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't make you weak. All right. So, do awakenings plateau? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And I'm going to tell you, when you plateau out, it's frustrating as hell. And I'm going to tell you, Kelly over here, yeah, just had a plateau for 4 freaking months. 4 months. And it's like every time I tried something, they're like, be patient. I'd try to launch, I felt held back. And I'm going, okay, I'm obviously doing something wrong. And I was, because I was resisting the process. I wasn't in allowance. So when I finally got so freaking frustrated, I was in tears, and I said, okay, God, I surrender. I surrender. Clearly, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I know what I want. I don't know how to get there. Obviously, I'm trying to force this process to happen. I'm done. I'm surrendering. You tell me what I need to do. You bring me the people that are going to help me to get where I need to be. So I officially surrender. The next day, I automatically started getting people popping in going, hey, I thought about you the other day. How about if I help you with this? How about if I help you with that? Hey, I got this person to help you with your marketing. And I'm like, boom, here it goes. So you're going to plateau out. Don't get frustrated. Be patient. But if you're plateauing, a lot of times you're resisting the process by pushing. Think of that, you know more. I'm like, don't. Sometimes spirit guides know shortcuts. If you get yourself in a place of allowance and surrender, they'll guide you. They'll guide you. So I forgot, me being who I am, I forget that too. So that's like, once I got in that place of allowance, boom, here I go. So I'm off and running now. So, my dogs both stare at things that aren't there. Sometimes you think it's spirits. Most likely, absolutely. Yeah. And dogs can see spirit. Cats are wicked, man. Cats can really see spirit. So, yes, absolutely. La, 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 la. What are the 5 stages of awakenings? Okay, so I got a lot of people asking. Let me just briefly go over this. Again, if you go on psychickelly.com, you can read about it on my blog, but I'm going to go over it briefly. Stage 0, so that's unenlightened people. They're in the damn valley. Now, as I'm describing these steps, imagine yourself going up a mountain, okay? So step number 1 is the catalyst. Like I said, something's got to spur this to happen. Step number 2 is when you're standing there going, okay, I know I feel different. What the hell's going on? And then it's like your perspective on life gets shoved clear out here and you see things from a big perspective, okay? That's, again, ear ringing, top of the head itchy, certain food's not sitting good. You're really getting curious about this goofy shit. You're really wanting to know about what the hell chakras are, why you want to meditate. Why do I feel like I want to do some yoga, right? So stage 3 is when we start to see replicating numbers such as 1111, 444, and a combination, 911, 711, 311. Those, you're going to see those combinations, okay? That's signifying the beginning of a stage 3. So stage 3 then is when we start to make a move on our chessboard. This is when people are like, I can't believe you're just gonna pack up and move away and quit your job. You have lost your mind. And you're like, bitch, I found it, okay? I know what I'm going. I'm not asking you for your opinion on what I want to do with my life. I'm gonna go live my life for me. And after you rock the boat in every aspect of your life, you stand there isolated and alone, and you're looking around going, well, feels lonely at the top, but it feels right. So, and then you start to really work on the dark night of your soul. That's when you work on anger, fear, how you were raised by your parents, really working on some old school shit, right? That's when you work on the dark night of your soul. And then after you figure out all of that, after most of your lessons are learned, God's going to kick you in the teeth one more time and be like, oh, you think you learned? Boom. And you're going to get a lesson thrown at you pretty damn good. And then when you figure that lesson out, you're going to rise like a phoenix out of the ashes. And then you're at a stage 5. Stage 5 is when you know who you are, you know your connection to God source energy, you know your life purpose, you know that you are connecting to every living thing. Therefore, you will treat everyone as if they are your brother or your sister, no matter how bad they may hate you. You forgive them for their ignorance. And then you just move on, all right? So understand, a lot of people want to bring people up on this mountain. They're like, well, my husband's unenlightened, but I'm just trying to get him to understand. Guess what? He's not going to. So you guys are an unenlightened person, and you are on two different playing fields. So they're not going to be able to understand you. So that's okay. All right. So just let them be. So biggest thing that you can do is pray for them and walk away. That's all you can do. Potty mouth, yeah, I have a potty mouth. If you don't like it, just leave. How can I trust spirit and the angels and give them my worries? So literally, I will tell you, give it to God. You don't need to worry about it. You don't. Understand that you can worry about things that you can control, but don't worry about things that you can't control. Your job is to learn how to react differently to what may come about. That's all you can do. So that's all your job is to do, is just to learn how to react differently to situations and literally not worry about it and just give it to God. Easier said than done. That takes a lot of practice. All right, a lot of practice. Okay. I see a lot of sandwich numbers like 616, 606, 212. Palindrome. So what that is a combination of those numbers. So sixes it's telling me that you're worrying about money instead of what you can do to gain more money. You're focusing in on the lack of money, not what you can do to gain more money. So hopefully that makes sense. So go back and read you can read my blog on about the numbers part of things, okay? So it's just a combination of both. So however, if you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, that means it's telling me that your spirit guides are trying to tell you, hey, it's time for change. You know what you need to change. You're being guided. Go for it. So give it a shot. Give it a try, okay? So if you see that, that's just their way of telling you it's time for change. So hopefully that makes sense. Replicating 8s. Any reason, Rhonda's asking if there's any reason why she wakes up each night at 2:21. I'm going to tell you, when you go through an awakening, you're going to wake up between the hours of 2 and 4 quite regularly. Almost always when we start to go through this, we wake up at 3, 3:30, or 3:33 on the dot. So 2:21 very well maybe could be your birthday. It could be maybe a loved one's birthday or a death date. So pay attention to that. My guess is probably it's being sent from a loved one on the other side. So many times also when we go through our awakening, you're going to see your birth date a lot too. That's very common. So there's no really meaning behind it per se. It's just more or less of you letting you know that you're in alignment with yourself or your higher self. So should I be scared to open my third eye? Heck no. Heck no. So thoughts on past life regressions. I like it. Okay, now here's the deal. It doesn't necessarily tie in with this real life stuff, because I think personally that if you begin to go through a spiritual awakening, your karmic debt has been paid in full. Okay, so from lifetimes, your karmic debt is paid. All right, so understand that if you really want to learn about your past life, the best way to do it is through a past life regressional hypnotherapy session. That's usually the best way to do it. So, and that's fairly easy. You want to find a therapist that you trust, obviously. I will tell you personally, I like the guys at A+ Hypnosis here in Omaha. They're wonderful. Tim is great, and he's got a lot of people on his staff who are really good peeps. But Tim has a tendency to specialize in that past life regressional stuff. So, are ghosts real? Oh, absolutely, yes. What would be some characteristics or sign that toddler has gifts? I'm going to tell you, most kids under the age of 10 at this point absolutely have gifts. Most of them are not going to get shut off. So most of the most intuitive ones are ADD, ADHD, and autistic. So those are the most intuitive children. A lot of times they're going to gravitate towards crystal stones and rocks right off the bat. They're going to walk on their tippy toes and they don't sleep worth a shit. So usually that's it. How do you know if you've gone off track instead of continuing to follow your highest good? Because it won't feel right. If it's for your highest good, it's uplifting. It feels good. You have motivation. You just go for it. If you're off the wrong track, you're like, something ain't right, or it's not going easy, or you feel a little frustrated. That's okay. It happens to everybody. You're going to get off track. It's just your spirit guide's job to pop you back on track. So just ask them to help you out a little bit. So, and they will. You'll see, they will. All you got to do is ask and you shall receive. All you have to do is ask. That's it. What about Akashic records? Yes, those are real. Yes, those are legit. I don't specialize in those personally. Other people do, but Akashic records is it's called the Inside the Hall of Records. There's a book that has your name on it, that has everything you've done up to this date in all your previous lives included. So it's not so much for future reference, but if you want to learn from your past, Akashic records are great. So do dogs go to heaven? Heck yeah, absolutely heck yeah. So animals are here to teach us unconditional love. So even though your cat might poop on the rug, it's still here for your unconditional love and to teach you that. So hopefully that one makes sense, but yep, they're here to teach you unconditional love. Crystal healer course. I said go for it. So if that's what floats your boat, try it. Why not? So what are you gonna do? Learn something new? Woohoo! So I'm like, yeah, if that's what floats your boat, go for it. Absolutely. Thoughts on access bars? I like it. I like it. They do acupuncture or pressure points within the body, reaffirming something that may be in your subconscious that maybe you're not aware of. So I like access bars. I think it's great. I think it definitely serves a positive purpose. So I like it. Why do people with empathy tend to become depressed? Okay, here's a good one. Empathy means that you can feel other people's emotional states very well. But my empathic people have the tendency to self-sacrifice so much that they lose touch with who they really are. And if you forget to take care of you, if you forget what your goals, ambitions, and dreams are, and if you self-sacrifice for your family and forget about yourself, you will become depressed. So remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. You must take care of yourself. That's really when I began realizing that people ask me all the time, for instance, how do you take care of kids and do 2 businesses and still do the things that you're doing? It's because I take care of me. On Wednesday afternoons between 1 and 3, that's my me time. I won't get my nails done, I go get my nails done. I want to go get a massage, I go get a massage. That is my me time. You must take time out for you to take care of you, because nobody else is going to do it for you. You have to take care of yourself, or you become depressed. That's where it comes from. Okay. My hands have an abnormal amount of lines all over. Does that mean anything? Brittany, awesome questions. Here's the deal though. I don't know jack crap when it comes to palmistry. I'm going to tell you, my best friend Shannon does. So she is wicked good about doing, figuring out palmistry. So her business is Fine Lines Palmistry here in Omaha. She's great. She's awesome. So if I would tell you, that's a question for her. I don't know palmistry worth a shit. She's trying to teach me and I'm like, woohoo! Like I can read you, but I can't look at your palms and figure it out. That's really tactile. She's great. So that's on my, like I said, Shannon Kinsey, if you guys follow me on Facebook, you'll find her there. She's my best friend. So she's with me everywhere. So, but she's wicked good at palmistry. Any thoughts on infertility? I will tell you, Kelly, most unlikely that is a father, biological father, abandonment issue. Maybe your dad was a workaholic. He went to work at 6 and got home at 9. Maybe dad died early. Maybe dad wasn't there for you. You have to deal with the dad issue. You fix the dad issue, everything's going to get cleared up. Body will get in a place of allowance. You're good to go. So biggest thing I can tell you is infertility issues are almost always in relation to a biological father abandonment issue. Somebody's asking me, how do your readings work? So my readings, I do them in person, in Skype, via FaceTime, whatever, phone. I do them all over the world, so it really doesn't matter. Spirit travels, so you don't have to sit right in front of me. So we can do it via Skype, works just as well. So right now I do half-hour readings, and I think I'm booked out until like the end of February. So, but I do, like I said, I do 6 to 8 readings a day. So, so I'm trying because I don't like to have that big of a weight, but that's just kind of how it is right now. Best way, if you guys want to know how to get a reading, go to my website, psychickelly with an I.com, and you can get on there and go ahead and make an appointment there. Is it possible to fix lack of money flow? Yes. It means to tell me that you are focusing in on money so much, you're blocking it. So you know what? I want you letting it go. Literally, let it go. So let it go. Let's just see what happens, and it'll be able to come back to you. Okay, you're focusing in on too much on the lack of money and how to get it, that you're blocking yourself the whole way around. So literally, just like, you know what? I'm okay. I've got money enough in the bank to pay the bills. I always have. I'm gonna let it go for a little bit and then watch and see what happens. Usually that's when you get this weird check that comes in and you're like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about this. So it's never anything big. Let's be real. It's not like, oh my God, I won the lottery. Let's be real. But it is usually something that you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, a refund check. Yeah. So, do I mentor people to help them develop further? Yes, I do. And let me explain something to you. So I came up with a program. It's called Enlightenment Academy. So that the reason why I'm big on this is because my abilities can be taught. So they're not some, oh, you're born into it and you get it. No, it's actually taught. So if you're seeing replicating numbers like 1111, 444, then you're ready to go ahead and take this class. But if you are not seeing those replicating numbers, it's not quite time, because the information will be a little over your head or overwhelming for you, and you won't be able to grasp what I'm throwing down. So if you're seeing replicating numbers at this point, it's enlightenment-academy.com. and go ahead and take that class. My next class is February 8th, 9th, and 10th. It is a weekend class, and it's kind of a big deal. So you come back with a binder full of this much stuff. Like I give you everything that I'm knowing, all right? So that's what I'm going. It's not like my workshops where I try to hit as much as I can. It's in depth, what I've learned, and what generally the general rule about certain stuff, but it's pretty good stuff. So yeah, Rachel's like great academy, highly recommend. Rachel's been in it. So I'm gonna write it down. I'm a horrible speller. I got it. Okay, so there you go. It's on. When getting a reading, are we interrupted by our loved ones by bringing them with us? No, if they have something to say, they will. But if they butt in and I'm not asking them to, there's a damn good reason why they're butting in. So it really depends. But for the most part, at this point, it's organized chaos. So we talk about your real life stuff first, then we go into the mediumship. Unless you want to just do straight mediumship, we can do that too. It's all good. So, wow. Similar to what you said about ADD, ADHD, are high-functioning sociopaths a type of human with different sets of gifts? Sociopaths are so manipulative, and they've played on that manipulation so well. They're not enlightened. They're manipulative. So that's a whole different ball game. And they can read you in a way to their advantage. That's like, I'm not reading you to my advantage. I'm reading you to help you. So, but a sociopath is reading you to see what he can gain or she can gain from you. So that's, I would say that's in a totally different category, but yet I could see how you would overlap those. So, is an awakening going to turn around the poisonous political climate around? Oh, yes. So your job, and I have this, a lot of people are like, how can I help so many people? What can I do? And I'm going to tell you what, the answer is simple. Help yourself. If you can help yourself and vibrate at a high energy level and help people even at the grocery store by saying hi and telling them that they look nice or giving them a compliment, that is what's going to spread everything else out for the positive, okay? So focusing in on praying for people who need enlightenment is the way to go. That's another way, all right? So biggest thing, you got to focus in on you first. Like I said, you help you, you'll be able to help others. Is it okay to remove yourself from family members who have severe mental health issues? It's not only okay, I will tell you, it is freaking mandatory. Okay, and I'm not saying remove, we're gonna put up proper boundaries as not to allow the foolish behavior to come into your world, all right? So you have to put up proper boundaries with certain people. And I'm gonna tell you, your family members are going to be the people that give you the best lessons ever. And so it's really difficult when people are like, oh, well, family is family is family. Not if they're batshit crazy. Sorry, no, boundary is appropriate, okay? So, and if they're really sociopathic and highly narcissistic and really manipulative, then you need to absolutely distance yourself from people like that. You have to. You have to. Meaning of seeing feathers multiple times. Usually those are angel feathers. Almost always that's a sign that angels are near. Another way angels are near, you're going to hear that high-pitched ringing in your right ear. So you hear that and it's almost deafening. That's a sign that there's an angel around. Not necessarily that they want to communicate, but it's just their way of letting you know that they exist, they're here, and that you're being supportive. And then the other one is when, you know, you're laying there at nighttime and you're looking and then all of a sudden you like have your eyes open and you're seeing like these white flashes of light. That's another sign for angels, or that angels are near. So they really, really come in quite a bit. As long as you're able to get yourself in that place of allowance, just chill. So, somebody said, thank you for all you do. I had to walk away from my narcissistic mother and narcissistic mother-in-law, and I am healed and doing wonderful because of it. Amen, sister. So What about hearing angel music? Ooh, that's magical stuff, but absolutely yes. That means that your clairaudient or your ability to hear spirit is absolutely rising. Somebody's asking, could I be blocked from finding love? Yeah, it's no different than we were talking about the money thing. If you want something so bad, you're not going to get it. Let me give you an example. When I was going through this, I thought my clairvoyance should be better, and I did everything. I'm like opening my pineal gland, I'm getting all the rocks and crystals for my third eye chakra. Nothing was happening. And finally, my spirit guide came in and said, listen, let it go. Perfect what you already know. Fine. So when I started working on my clairaudient ability to hear spirit, clairsentient ability to sense spirit, that's when my clairvoyance started kicking in. It's like I had to get distracted from it for a little bit for it to occur. So what I'm going to tell you is if you feel like you're being blocked from finding love, one, it has to be divine timing. Two, understand your lessons and what you've learned from your past. And three, make sure that you're okay just being alone. There's a big difference in being alone and lonely. There's a big difference in that, but be okay being alone. And the minute you're okay with being alone and focusing in on what you want to do with your life and your life purpose, that's when your soulmate is going to come. So, do I believe in twin flames? Yes, I do. Twin flames are fairly rare. So, soulmates are more common. I need to get rid of that ceiling fan. It needs to be dusted. So, la 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 la. It's going so fast. Is there a relationship between empathy and enlightenment? So there's degrees of empathy. So if you're like on a scale of 1 to 10, if you're like a 10 of an empath, then you're like the mama hen. You take care of everybody in your family. You're probably the daycare worker. That's my highly empathic one. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm like a 6. So those are the ones that, you know, if grandpa falls, they're like, oh, Lord, and they go help up grandpa when I'm like, are you okay? So there's a difference in that. So that's the difference. Carrie, you're funny. Carrie Christensen. So I just saw that. I just thought about you. But there is a difference, but empathy gets amplified when you go through an awakening. And really, you know, empathy is a double-edged sword. It's great to have it, but it comes as a bit of a curse too, because you feel everybody's emotional range. So it's great, but it's not. So it depends. Ringing in the left ear. So ringing in the left ear, a lot of times for me is more, it could be a shift of energy, or it could be, a loved one trying to come in and say hi. So left side for me is my loved ones, right side is my spirit guide. So, are we bothering our loved ones by bringing them into a reading? No, they're usually waiting for you to get in. So no, they're never bothered. And I don't want anybody to ever think that like you can keep somebody here from like not going to heaven by asking them to be around. 9 times out of 10, your loved ones are going to hang around you until your grief is over. That's what they're going to do. So it's fine. So don't feel like you're keeping them from something. You're not. You never are. They are here for your highest good. So, my guides are showing me eyes. Does that mean anything? I'm going to tell you, look that one up, dreammoods.com. Usually it has to do with your intuition and your clairvoyance is starting to pop on. Is there a way to help a loved one welcome dream visits? Welcome it instead of fearing it. Understand where it comes from. Like I said, you fear what you don't understand. So the next time it happens, tell them thanks instead of going, what was that? So, and just assuming that it's something bad and negative and demonic. So my guess is you watch too many damn scary movies and you need to quit it. So, but understand your loved ones are going to come through sometimes by tapping, by somebody shutting a door, turning your lights on and off. They do all kinds of goofy things to try to get a hold of your attention, but they don't mean to do it to scare you. They do it to help you or to let you know that they're around and they have your back. So Can the grief of a loss of a baby keep you from getting pregnant again? Yes, it can. Yes, it can. So that absolutely can. And there might be even some weird guilt in with that too. So work on the guilt. Work on the guilt. Haven't seen any orbs tonight. No kidding. No kidding. I haven't either. Thank God. So the last time they were crazy. What's the difference between a twin flame and a soulmate? Ooh, okay, let me try to explain this best I can. There's 3 different types of relationships that we can be in. Relationships, meaning man, woman, coworker, family member, whatever. There's karmic relationships. Those are the ones where the empath narcissistic relationship, right? Karmic. So the other one is soulmate. And this is a really comfortable one. This is one that, like, my best friend's my soulmate, right? So, and a lot of times you're going to bump into a soulmate. Twin flames are a little bit more rare, but they get tossed around a lot like a soulmate. So twin flames are 2 people who are very enlightened at a stage 4 or a stage 5. 2 people that are very enlightened that come together for the service of humanity to help others and to bring more light into this world, because vibrationally speaking, they're at the same level. All right. And when you meet a twin flame, they are, in a weird way, a completion of you. And I say that weird because you're a completion all on your own. You don't need somebody to complete you. So, but a twin flame does. So hopefully that answers. But twin flames come together at a stage 4, stage 5 of their awakening to be able to co-create to help others. Okay. Soulmates, not necessarily. How do you know when to end a karmic relationship? You'll just know. That's the best way I can tell you, is that you'll know. So you'll just sit there and be like, today's the day. I'm done. And the truth is going to come out. That's all how it rolls. So I had 2 very vivid dreams with Jesus. He was like right there, but didn't talk and smiled, reached out, hand towards me. What could that mean? That means to tell me that he is your spiritual teacher. So if you have any questions, ask him to guide you. Ask him to help teach you, and he will. It's kind of like you got a direct line. He's like, what you want? What do you need? What can I help you with? And so usually when we're going through times of turmoil or confusion or frustration, he's going to show up. So he's here to help you figure your crap out here. All right. What's up with spirit animals combining? So basically put, I'm just going to put this basic because it could go into really in-depth stuff. So basically put, we all have 3 spirit animals. One's a mammal, one's a bird, one's an insect. So what I'm going to tell you is, you ask God, okay, God, I need help trying to figure out what my spirit animal is. And you're going to see it over and over and over and over and over until you figure it out. So, and a lot of times this is something like an animal that you would have really liked when you were a kid. So that's what usually that's going to be your spirit animal. Insects that you see over and over, or an insect that really resonates with you or that you like, that's also going to be a spirit animal. So, oh, my twin flame. Oh, honey, you're so cute. So Eric, my husband, is chiming in. So he said, so when I bring up a cheesy line from movies like Jerry Maguire, you complete me. You shouldn't poke fun at me because you're my twin flame. So he's asking me that question. So get offline, stalker. So, okay, all of a sudden, elephants in my thoughts and everywhere showing up. That very well could be your spirit animal. That very well could be, but I'm going to tell you, elephants are big, spiritually speaking, just like owls are too, okay? What does it take to reduce the thought form of hell that humans place so much energy into? Hell has always existed, and it will, because of the polarity factor. So your job is to pray for the people that may be there, or pray for the people that are focusing in on that. But I don't want you focusing in on that, if that makes any sense. So, I'm going to tell you, if you're enlightened, you ain't going. Don't worry about it. So you really can't screw up that bad not to go. I was taken through astral travel room, shown Book of Life. It was amazing, but why shouldn't we all have that opportunity? Because you've been working on you, Christina. That's good. So eventually, I'd love for everybody to get to that spot. I've been there too. It's like I said, it's called the Hall of Records. So I want everybody to have that opportunity, but not all of them are going to be ready for that opportunity. You have to prepare. You have to be ready for that. How can I really tap into my spirit guides? Again, I want you to meditate. I want you to pay attention to the randomness or the random thoughts. And I want you to be specific. And here's something that I did years ago that I just now remembered. It's great. So I said one time, I was living in a trailer. I was sitting there and I said, all right, spirit guides, if you're real, I want to see a purple feather. Yeah, I want to see a purple feather. If you're real, prove it. So 3 days later, my daughter came in. She's like, Mom, I found this for you. Grab it, pulls it out, and it's a purple feather. I about shit a brick. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I have learned that if you ask them to give you a sign, they will. And they will keep giving you that sign until you understand. But if you ask for a specific one, be patient, but they will deliver. I've done that one time with angels too. I'm like, all right, God, if angels are real, prove it. Let's see it. And in a weird way, I knew that they were. I wanted that proof. Okay. So it was like 2 weeks later, I get in my car, unlock the car door. There was a pile of white feathers in my car. I was like, oh, I ain't questioning that again. So it's okay to question your spirit guide. They understand human stupidity and doubt. Thank goodness. So it's okay to go ahead and ask them with that. They'll prove it to you. They will, because I want you to understand your connection to your spirit guide. It's great that I can connect to yours, but I want you to be able to do it for you, for your own highest good, so you can start not only helping you, but other people too. So, when will I have a grandchild? I don't know. I'd have to read you on that one, Lisa. I don't know. Whenever your son or daughter's ready. I don't know. I would have to look into that. I have a thought that so-called bad person dies, they don't go to hell, they are cleansed in God's love. What is your belief about hell? So yes, I believe that. To go to hell is a rare bird. Let's be real. And if you do, 9 times out of 10, you're there for a very short while. Like we're talking a few days, and you're like, okay, Jesus, God, help me, get me out of here. Once you recognize it, boom, you're out. So it's a weird thing. It's more or less like a weird scare tactic. It's not that you're going to stay there, because God's love is universal. We're all a piece of God's light. So that's like, it's a rare bird if you go, but if you do, you're there for a very short time. 9 times out of 10, it's like possession, negative entity attachment. It's a little bit deeper than just being a bad person. So, how do you know if things are falling into the right place, your right path? Because again, it feels right. It absolutely feels right. Can angels help me kick an addiction? Wendy, I'm going to tell you, look into where that addiction stems from, because addiction means that you're doing something to make you feel good for the moment. It's a brief moment, but it makes you feel good for the moment. And I want you to really dive in deeper with that. Where are you getting, what's the core issue? Most than likely, it's the way that you were raised by a parent or lack thereof. Probably an abandonment issue is my guess. So, are spiritual blocks a thing? Spirit doesn't block us, we block ourselves. We block ourselves with our own negative subconscious shit, all right? So that's it's hard for somebody else to put a block on me or a hex on me or a curse on me, because if that's the case, I've been cursed so many times, I don't even know. So, but understand that if I believe in it, then it becomes real. So spiritual blocks, are a thing, but not necessarily. Again, it's an emotional issue. So if your solar plexus is blocked, it's because you don't have any self-confidence. Well, why don't you have any self-confidence? Let's go back and look at the way you were raised. Most than likely, we're going to find an answer there. So if somebody takes their own life, does that keep them from going to heaven? No, not at all. Absolutely not at all. Now, what does happen is that if you spend your life here in a long depressed state and then you kill yourself, what happens is that you go into a place that's like a hospital. There's a hospital on the other side. And then you figure out who you are, your mistakes, what you learned, and then you are able then to cross over into heaven. And that's why I always tell people, when you come to me for a reading, I want you to wait 3 months after somebody dies, because a lot of times they need to transition and you're still in a shocked state. So we have to get you out of shock and they need to transition. So, and that's usually for my suicides. But say a 12-year-old commits suicide, you don't have to go to the hospital. They're going straight to heaven. So that's why I want to acknowledge it depends. It's all dependent on different aspects or avenues. Okay. So, but generally speaking, no, everybody crosses over. What are the consequences of someone trying to become a medium out of curiosity versus someone who has natural abilities? None. None. There are no negative consequences to doing my job. I don't have fear. So that's the biggest difference, is I don't fear spirit. I don't let spirit tell me what to do. I tell spirit what to do. They don't control me. I control them. They aren't coming into my world. I'm going into theirs. So that's why I'm like, you really have to look at this from an enlightened, positive perspective, not a fear-based one. So I feel the need that like everybody can learn this. Absolutely. But you have to be in the right spot or place mentally and spiritually to be able to go there. Have I read any of Dolores Cannon's books? Yes, and she's awesome. So Dolores Cannon is a wonderful author. She's got great things out on YouTube. I like her a lot. I like her a lot. Yeah, 2 more minutes. Are pets on this earth to teach us? Yes, they are. They're here to teach us unconditional love. Do they have the same kind of afterlife as us? Actually, yeah. And sometimes our pets come in our lifetime here. They might come in 2 or 3 times in a lifetime. So it's very, very common. It really, really is. Any light on Alzheimer's? I will tell you, people that get dementia or Alzheimer's grew up really hard. Not that they grew up in a bad home life. It was hard. Like they had to go out early in the morning to get eggs out of the chicken coop and make themselves breakfast, or they weren't going to eat. So it was a hard life. And that rigidity or hardness has to be let go of over time. And so what happens is that you get dementia and you forget about your reality. So then you step into half a foot into this reality or spirit world. And what happens is you go backwards 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, and you're letting go of all that rigidity. And what happens is many times these grandmas that are really, really nice, all of a sudden are like, ah, and they vent. You're like, oh, grandma. Like they're all cussing and all kinds of crazy stuff. They're letting all of that go. So, and then after a while, they go into childhood stuff, and then they curl up in the fetal position, then they go home. So for the person who has dementia, it's actually great because they're releasing all that rigidity. It's the people that are around that person that makes it a lot more difficult. Abraham Hicks, Edgar Casey, freaking awesome. Love them both, especially Abraham Hicks. Abraham Hicks is a way for people to be able to figure out how to do law of attraction. Simple. She got tons of YouTube videos out there, tons of books, but I tell you, even if you're bored and you're cleaning, listen to some Abraham Hicks videos. Love it. It really puts your perspective into energy and thoughts versus how do I work hard to get it? Let's work smarter, not harder. Law of attraction is the way to do that. All right. Okay. And I'm going to do one more. So there is so much negativity and jealousy at work towards me. What can I do? Get a different job. No shit. Literally get a different job. So because that's not going to get any better unless you can really ignore it and understand that they're ignorant and judgmental and that they're going to be. You ain't here to people please them. You ain't gonna. So if you can't handle it, time to bow out gracefully and get a new job. And then lastly, I'm going to do one more. What's the best book to get to for the benefit of rocks and crystals? So at my store, Awakenings, awakeningstore.com, which you guys can order online. We do free shipping all over. The benefit to rocks and crystals, the best book for that is the Crystal Bible. And this lady that wrote it is Judy Hall. So she's got like Crystal Bible 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get the original one. Get book number 1. It's awesome. So along with the numbers, Doreen Virtue wrote a book called Angel Numbers. It's Angel Numbers 101. And again, you can get that at awakeningstore.com. And that's an excellent book because if you're seeing like a number like 221, like we were discussing, you open it up, she'll tell you exactly what that number means. So, alrighty guys, so I'm gonna put a pause on this and we're gonna go ahead and call this a night. My voice is starting to go out. So we're gonna call this a night. Please make sure that you're following me, not only here on YouTube, but on Facebook as well. Again, these abilities can absolutely be taught. If you're interested, please check out Enlightenment Academy. And then also, of course, I'm gonna promote my store, Awakening, so awakeningstore.com. And I wanna thank you guys again. I do this monthly, so if you have any questions between now and then, write them down. Write them down and then join me on for next month and we'll do another Q&A here on YouTube. So thank you guys again so much. I'm so happy that I'm always available to help you guys answer these type of questions. So thanks again for following me. I really appreciate it. And we will be talking with you guys soon. So thanks again, guys. Take care. Bye.